Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion of the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you will find a description of the day's astrology as I have spelled it out here. Here I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of today's astrology, may just give us something to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Three of Pentacles, and it is here because it corresponds in astrology with the second 10 days or the second decan of the sun's transit here in the land of Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign, and pentacles in tarot, these little stars and circles, are earth element symbolism. Earth element symbolism is about the physical resources we possess and what we are willing to do with them to create a sense of success, abundance, stability, safety, support in our lives, okay? And so we come to the Three of Pentacles, and we see a card that's very much about teamwork, right? Three people have gathered together and they bring together their different resources, their different abilities, and together they create something beautiful and strong, which will presumably stand a long time. And, you know, these people don't have to all agree on everything. They just have to know how to do what they do and have a common objective in mind. Teamwork makes swift progress, right? And it helps us create something new that hopefully is supportive not just of us individually, but of a greater collective of people. So that's the Three of Pentacles. You know, it occurs to me when I look at this, you've got one person who's bringing the physical resource of actual skilled craftsmanship, skilled labor. You know, there's another skilled craftsman here as well, and that's the person who drew the plans for the arch. It looks like they're holding the plans for the archway. And then this other person here, they look like a monk, but perhaps they're the representative of the church which provided the money or something, right? The representative of the institution that provided the money for that archway to be built. So, you know, again, everybody brings their different resources and their different capabilities. You know, everybody knows what they are willing and able to do with the physical resources they possess, including their bodies. And so everybody shows up and does their part, and things come across just beautifully. And with that said, oh, the Five of Pentacles. Okay. So Pentacles and Pentacles, more earth element symbolism, more about the resources we have and what we're willing to do with them. Five of Pentacles usually, usually relates back to some sense of lack in our lives. It says, you know, that we may be going without something that we need, and you know it always disturbs me a little bit to see this, especially in the wintertime, because it's a wintertime scene, and I just think, you know, I have a hard time dealing with the idea of people going without things they need in the wintertime, okay? So first of all, I'm going to say, if you know somebody who's going without something that is necessary for themselves in their life, see what you can do to help them out, all right? If the heat bill is outrageous and you know, your loved one doesn't know how they're going to pay it, see if you can find a way to help them get that done, right? Or if somebody's going without shoes or going without a coat when it's cold outside, let's just do what we can to try to provide something for them, okay? But you know, there's kind of a story here that looks like some people are going without, but they are right here next to this sort of institution that represents money. It represents, you know, wherever you have a building, you have resources, right? So, you know, there's always the reminder to ask for help. If you're going without something that you truly need, understand that is to the detriment of your overall well-being, okay? It's, you know, if you have a coat, but you're living outdoors, that is to the detriment of your health. That is dangerous for your health and your life, okay? So don't go without the things you physically need. Find the shelter, find the resources, ask somebody that you know can provide them, okay? But also, there's a connotation with this card that comes up sometimes where it's like, walking away from those resources, right? Like walking away from the support that was provided here, perhaps, perhaps because it was too restrictive, or it asked things of us that we weren't willing to give, right? So, it's sort of on that end of it, it feels a little bit like, yeah, no, not really any port in a storm will do, right? We want to be somewhat choosy about who it is that we ask for our resources from, but still, I want to remind you that if you're going without, and who can provide that resource, please go ahead and get it if you can, okay, without selling yourself short or selling yourself out, or being asked to give something that you're not willing or able to give. If you can find somebody who will just provide the resource for you that you need, then please go and find it. And yeah, and if you find yourself in a situation where what they ask in return for their help is too much, then it's not really help, is it? And there is a resource out there that will help you, and you can go and find it. Okay. And oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's see where this is on the page, going without the resources that we need. Well, I can say that, Mercury is retrograde in Capricorn. We've been talking a lot about this lately, I know. Mercury is retrograde in Capricorn, and Mercury is about, especially in Capricorn, it's about like seeing what the need is, and realizing what the steps are to take it, and making the plan to get moving toward our own sort of solvency, our own sort of what do I want to say, structure, stability, and support, okay? But Mercury is retrograde right now, so we're having some hangups. There are some little, what do you call it, hiccups in the giddy up or something like that. Anyway, Mercury retrograde in Capricorn back here is just giving us a little bit of trouble with having a plan. Perhaps we're going without because we have failed to plan, or we just don't, things have not gone according to plan. But you see that Mercury is also trine over here to Uranus on that culminates today, and it's going to be with us through February 5th. Trine to Uranus, trine to the North Node. These two are conjunct. Sun and Mercury are basically conjunct. So the attention is very much about Pentacles, Earth signs, Capricorn and Taurus, and it's really a very auspicious vibe. That green line between the four that says that yes, we may have to look elsewhere for the resources that we need. Perhaps they're not coming to us very reliably, Uranus and Taurus, right? And that can be very frustrating, and it may put us in a position where we have to, go seek out help and ask for it. However, we have the Sun and Mercury on our side. We can think clearly about what it is that we can do for ourselves, and we can see clearly what it is that we might be able to, how we might be able to go about getting our resource needs met. Okay, so it never hurts to ask. It might take a couple of tries with Mercury in retrograde. Uranus is also currently retrograde, so sometimes it's and that turns the Uranus vibe, that inward, where we're sort of reflecting on the changes that we've been through lately. But in that sense of reflection, we might be able to either pull on some inner resource to make the outer resources happen. And sometimes that sounds to me like, asking a friend or a loved one to help you out. Or, just remembering that you know how to do this brilliant thing, and you can sell, 100 jars of jam or something, and make up the money that you need to make for that heating bill or whatever it is. Okay. So, we're brilliant, plucky, resourceful people is what this is saying. And we can get our resource needs met. So if you're in a place where you're going without and you feel like, things are desperate and you would really rather not have to go to the people that you need to go to for the help, understand that you're a resourceful person and give it some thought. Think about what other way you can build some value for yourself in your life very quickly. And, if not, also just be willing to think about asking the question, talking to the person who can help you. Maybe they can help you um, uh, get the resources you need to, invest in the scheme to make the money that you need, right? So that it doesn't have to be all on them to provide it for you. All right, and taking these two together, it's sort of a collaborate or walk, isn't it? I mean, this is very similar to this. Both look very institutional. They both look rather churchy, even though there's no specific, I think, religion stated there. So you know, this says to me there are those who have collaborated, they've worked together with their peers to create something of structure, and then there are those who are still going without. Okay. And I was talking in the other episode about how right now, between these two signs, which are both ruled by Saturn, both of these signs are ruled by Saturn. Between these two signs, 5 of our transiting planets are in those signs, including Saturn, okay? So Saturn is very much about what's tried and true, what's practical, what's pragmatic. In Capricorn, it's a lot more conservative, and it's a lot more about providing for me and mine, doing what is tried and true, what is necessary just to provide the support that I need to for myself. Aquarius is a broader view, more humanitarian effort. It wants our efforts to include other people. It wants our support networks, our networks and structures for support to reflect a consciousness of the broader needs of humanity. I'm trying to spit these words out about as fast as I can think them. So we can right now expect to be just doing what works, doing what is tried and true, and supporting ourselves through our efforts. But by this time next month, there are going to be more planets in Aquarius than there are in Capricorn, okay? And so the weight of that sense of responsibility, that desire to build things of value, of structure and support, are going to have to really start being more about including those in the collective who might be going without. Okay, did we build this stone archway so that these people would have to be out in the cold? Probably not. So, if you are working just on your own personal goals at this time, there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to understand that down the line, and increasingly so throughout this year and the next several years, our efforts toward lending structure and support to our lives are going to have to be more about the collective. They're going to have to support ourselves and other people, okay? Or at least they're going to have to support ourselves without decreasing the support of other people. So let's be inclusive, friends. Let's try to think about the people who might be going without at this time, and collaborate to lend some structure and support to their lives as well, because being unhoused isn't any fun. And being being out in the cold and having to search for your resources, whether that's your where you're going to lay down or where your next food is, that's a really hard way to live. And if we're not living that way, and that's not what we value, living that way is not what we value, then perhaps we should be a little bit invested in making sure that other people don't have to live that way as well. However you might like to do that. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'm not here to share your daily aspects. I think that's the second time I've done that this week. My name is Melrose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.